8:45 at iFiber One News Radio. Good morning to you. I'm Jeff Slakey. Happy to focus on Shelton, brought to you by our Community Credit Union. And three great guests in studio today. We have Jason Dose and Ryan Wheaton, as well as Gary Cronce, the mayor of Shelton, all in here today. Good morning, everybody.
There you go. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now, this is a focus on Shelton here. This is what I'm talking about. Jason, let's start with you. You're the interim director for community development. Is that correct? Or
I have been called that.
Nice. Well, okay, good. And so I'm guessing we're going to talk about some of that.
A bit about development. Yeah, we've had a busy year this year. So, I was asked to prepare a few numbers just to give you some perspective.
Okay.
So I've got the comparisons of 2015 to date compared to 2016 to date.
Okay.
And in a general sense, broad scope permitting, that's everything from your, roofing permit, electrical permit, plumbing permit, to new houses, to new mills. All the above. This year we had 321 as of this morning. Mm-hmm. We had 308 same time period last year. Now, doesn't sound like a big change, but when you start looking at the substance of those permits, so you break them down, vet out a few of the numbers, we have 10 new homes, brand new construction, ground up construction in right now. We had 2 to date last year. As far as commercial buildings go, we have 8 substantial new commercial buildings. I mean, those include the Mills site, the new Fred Meyer gas station. We have a 4,500 square foot building that's going to fill out the Neyland Plaza commercial development that's under review. We have the new weld shop at the college. The Mills site accounted for, I believe, 4 of those buildings. But we have a total of 8 compared to 2 for the same time frame last year.
Wow.
And it's... I won't bore you with all of the numbers, but we have just a litany of pre-submission conferences. That's, people kind of kicking the tires on a project, whether they want to build a new house, do a subdivision, new commercial building, commercial use, whatever. They can come to the city and apply for what we call a pre-submission conference. And really what it is, we get what we call our design review team together. That includes fire, building, public works, planning, and we try to figure out what is it going to take to get your project. And we always encourage people to do those because it's a real cost-effective method to kind of get your ducks in a row preferably before you buy a property or before you invest a lot of time and effort into engineering and design. You come to the city, kind of sketch out your plan, this is my concept, and we try to figure out a way to make that work. Mm-hmm. So we've had... I didn't get the total numbers. I just had the numbers of them that we have in right now. We have 15 in right now, but if I had to guess, I'd say we've done 25 or 30 this year, which is a large number. So and these are big projects. One of them is a nearly 40-lot subdivision. So we're getting people kicking the tires on large-scale development.
Now, back in April, I think it was, the Shelton City Commission worked to change some of the fee structures on these things. Gary, I know you were an advocate of that. Do you see that those changes are why we're at the place we're at today?
I think it's a combination of things, and if we were kind of struggling for 10 years, with that 2 permits a year, and we, the commission, came forward and just said, look, we got to jumpstart this thing, or at least we have to be part of the solution to get some activity, and we cut pretty much all of the building permit fees and hookup fees, I think, too, in half. We cut them in half, and a radical move, but we had to help jumpstart this. I think that was it. And then to be honest, we do have to give some credit to the fact that the recession that hit all of us, even the Seattle area, many years ago, Shelton is usually the last bus stop on that. I was told that 30 years ago or so. So I think natural progression, that growth is starting to come into this area. But between the two things, I think that, I know many projects where the people come up and thank the city for lowering the fees and making it financially feasible for them to do a project in our city. And so I think we made the right move at the right time. And I just got these numbers this morning, and it looks like there was a lot of people were quite thinking we were going to lose money by doing this, and you were part of the discussion, I think. And so last year we brought in $63,851.65, and what we're projecting for this year is $101,350.00.
Wow!
So that's quite a jump, not quite double, but it's definitely that in the move that we made, we didn't lose anything. we gain something. Now remember, the commission has the ability to start upping those fees at any time.
Sure.
So I would gently start encouraging our builder buddies and our realtors and our people out there that look at, we did this to jumpstart the economy. Rates and fees have to come into line in order so that we all are a player, that nobody's getting left out on the fact that we all want to support the cost that it is to run a city. But we made the right move at the right time, and I'm very happy that we are moving forward. And so sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, and
try
I'm
some
happy we did
things,
it.
and it looks like it's going well, right?
From what we're seeing. Yeah.
Ryan, you agree with those statements? Things look like they're progressing nicely in this year so far.
They do. Obviously, I wasn't around the last few years, but coming into this, I had pretty clear direction from the mayor and the rest of the commissioners that we needed to act in accordance to our priorities. Before I came on board, they did this move with the permit fees. We have, through a combination of things, we've seen some growth, and we're excited what it's going to look like next year, especially.
Yeah.
But I think right now the mayor's right. We've seen some interesting turnarounds, and the exciting thing is that this hopefully can continue on to next year, where we can do some bigger and better things.
Very nice. What else is happening in the community that the city's working on, Jason?
Railroad Avenue corridor study. We're probably going to be unveiling a more public process after the new year.
Okay.
We're under contract with a firm to, right now they're looking at right away, basically how much space do we have in that roadway. We're coordinating with the county to pull them into the mix, and we're meeting with the visioning group that the chamber put together as part of the downtown visioning on a monthly basis, as we kind of vet out some of the concepts that'll work and maybe are a little challenging. And I guess what I'd say to end that is, sometime after the new year, we're going to have some public meetings where we're going to be looking for public input. And I hope we get the same type of interest we got for the downtown visioning plan, because that was great. That was really, the community owned that plan in a sense. It wasn't the city or the consultant designing this thing. I mean, the people in the community designed it.
Yeah,
that's a great thing when you can work with that sort. We're also looking at I guess what I'd add to the permit discussion, a lot of vacant buildings are getting filled. That's something that was a challenge, in my opinion, through the recession, because a lot of our buildings lack maintenance, right? So now you're dealing with a down economy, you're dealing with people that are out of work, you're dealing with a sagging real estate market. So what did that equate to for us? It equated to people looking at buildings and then going, I got to put $60,000 into this thing to get it to a standard where I can think about doing my project. And so they walked away from it.
Right.
Now we're getting to the point where real estate is back up, where they're able to invest this money in the buildings. And, I don't want to telegraph if there's any proprietary issues with some of these businesses coming in. But like, for one, what I will say is the Flowers by the Park building struggles for maintenance. So we had several people interested in that building. This is the one right there on First Street at Goldsboro Creek. Had a lot of people kicking the tires on that. It's been for sale for a long time, but the fact of the matter is it has some challenges. It wasn't maintained for probably 15, 20 years. And we have a tenant that's probably going to be moving in there. You'll see it the next couple of months. And I think it's a good use. It'll be a good addition to the community. And that's just one example, but we're seeing that kind of all over, primarily with residential at this point. We had, I don't even know what the numbers were, but they were frightening over the recession, just vacant buildings that were foreclosed on by the banks, and they're starting to get filled up.
Oh, great.
So, it's very promising, I guess, is the way to look at it. I would like to see more new development, and that's coming. I mean, Shelton Hills, that's a big one coming. We had a meeting with WashDOT and Hall Equities Group talking about the interchange improvements and how that's going to work. They're almost done negotiating the land swap that is kind of the intent of the interchange improvements. Then there'll be a land swap between the developer and WashDOT where they can really start developing in earnest. So we're hopeful that over the winter to spring, you're going to actually see some real, I know I've been saying that for 10 years, you're going to see some real movement on this.
Yeah, we've been saying it.
And I'm confident of that now, and I know I've said that in past years, but this time I mean it.
Seems like things are moving in a good direction.
Can I put 2 cents
please.
in towards the downtown Shelton visioning process? When it first went in, and the lanes narrowed, and we had back-in parking and everything, there was quite, listen, what are they doing? And you can't do this, and this is terrible. And there were a lot of people who said thank you too. But usually you don't get the complaints big time until all of a sudden you do something. Yeah. And what my answer to those people, and is to all the people here today, is that this is a first step. This is something that took about 2 years, a process to do, and it took hundreds of people volunteering their Saturdays to go on walking tours, to take their crayons in the Civic Center and draw out their imagination, and then they had subcommittee, and then the final draft. Here's what, whether I like or don't like anything that's happened, my mouth is closed on that opinion because I respect the process. The process where the community got together, had a chance to put their input, and this is our first draft. This is our first step in improving the downtown area, and that I respect the process, and that there are things that I might not quite like, but what I'm saying is that if you want changes in your downtown, come to those volunteer groups and bring your crayons and be part of then what's going to happen, because the squeaky wheel usually gets the grease, and all I'm saying is I'm excited about what's happening downtown.
It is nice to see that there was so much community involvement in putting this together.
We hope we'll get some on Monday. We're going to talk about the options that we have in terms of either taking the railroad in town that Simpson's offered us and the Roundhouse, taking one or the other, or taking none of them.
Okay.
And looking for direction from our commission this Monday on where they want us to go with that. So folks can certainly come and listen to the options that are going to be delivered, and then there'll be the potential that at that point or in the near future we'll get some clear direction, and then we'll move forward as a staff on what to do with that.
Be a Monday evening meeting here at the Civic Center, or at the Civic Center.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Well, we're just about out of time. So nice to see Jason Dose, Ryan Wheaton, and Gary Cronce, the mayor of Shelton. Gary, come on down more often.
I was just walking by and I saw these guys and I said, hey, let me come in.
I better figure out what you guys are talking about. All right, guys, thank you very much. It was